Hi guys, it's been a while since the last video. Thanks for being patient. We're trying to iron out our timeline with this all being new. With the second video, I wanted to talk kind of more about why I was attracted to martial arts and why I personally chose to use that as a focus and why I became passionate about it. Hopefully I can answer any questions that you guys may have. Also, if you do have any other questions unanswered, feel free to leave them in comments or let me know and I'll be more than happy to answer those. You know, I think everyone has something that they're passionate about. Some people are really passionate about golf. Some people are really passionate about art. I can't say why specifically I fell in love with martial arts, but I did. For me, I really needed to feel strong. I really needed to feel more in control of my life. And to me, the best embodiment of that was a martial artist. That's someone who could defend themselves, someone who could walk into any situation and have complete control and feel that they were, you know, had all the skills to handle anything. I just was drawn to that and I really wanted to embody that. So when I decided to take it seriously and really go for belts, I was curious to see, well, how serious can I take this and how far can I go? So, as a woman, if you've been interested to want to try martial arts, but you're kind of afraid that you're going to walk into this big scary school with a bunch of strong guys who are going to try to beat you up, it's totally not like that at all. I think the first thing you got to do is kind of let go of your prejudgments and ideas of what you think about it and kind of go and be open to the experience because it's probably going to be a lot different than you think. First of all, coming in, they're very conscious about new timers. Nobody wants to come in and have someone get beat up on the first day. They're very gentle. You're never going to get punched. You're never going to get kicked or have any kind of contact or combat with anybody when you start. They're very gentle. We want everyone to feel comfortable. No one's really judging anyone because we're all pretty focused on ourselves. You know, we're all I'm more self-critical of myself than I am anyone else. So I'm definitely trying to fix myself before I'm worried about what a white belt's gonna come in and do. Also, there's a pretty good amount of women that are in classes. You can always kind of check it out and go peek and see what the women are like or see how many women they have. But you know, I actually got some of my best female friends from school now because we all train and you're gonna have a good amount of them. Some schools too might separate classes and have a men's versus women's class. So you're not gonna be thrown in with guys if that's something that you're concerned about. The other thing too, to be honest with you, going with the guys who know what they're doing is so much better. They're a lot more in control. They're really good teachers. And they really, you know, there's not this kind of competitive aspect. So they will really take their time and be gentle and really show you, you know, what to do. And I've gotten some of my best training and best techniques when I'm working with the guys. So, you know, I think you just kind of have to put yourself out there and kind of go out of your comfort zone and realize that it's not going to be what you thought it was and it could be really exciting and enjoyable. Once I decided to take martial arts seriously and actually go for my belts, I knew that this was going to be a very lengthy time commitment, if not a lifetime commitment, to continue to train. I've been training now for about 3 years and I've surpassed 2 color levels. There's probably about 4 to 5 color levels after that I still have to go through. Max, if I'm training 2 to 3 times a week, it could take me about another 7 years to complete. If my schedule allows and I can up it to, you know, 4, maybe 5 times a week, which would be awesome, then it might take me 5 years more, which would be really exciting. So we're probably looking at about 5 to 7 years more after the 3 that I've already invested. So why we call it mixed martial arts is that from every region in every country, they all had their different variation of hand-to-hand combat or martial arts. In Japan, you had karate, you had jiu-jitsu. China, you had kung fu. Thailand, you had Muay Thai. Capoeira in Brazil. So once martial arts started to become professional and you basically had the UFC created, everyone was curious to see who's gonna dominate. Who's gonna win? The karate over kung fu, or, you know, Muay Thai, what's gonna happen? Well, all of them had deficiencies, and, you know, no one could really dominate each other. And then when the Gracies came in, they brought in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and there was the one flaw that all of the stand-up martial arts had, was that if you got taken to the ground, they were in trouble. They had nothing. So Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu kind of proved, as the Gracies came in and dominated everybody, that you needed to have some defense. You needed to be able to choke people out, defend against chokes, and use submissions when you were on the ground. That if you got taken to the ground, you needed to be able to defend that. And then the Gracies dominated UFC, and once everyone started to fight each other, that they realized that they had different skills from every aspect that they needed to be good at. You needed to be able to kick like a taekwondo artist, and you needed to be able to punch like a boxer, or, you know, be able to grapple and choke like a jiu-jitsu Brazilian black belt. So finally everyone, and I think, yeah, everyone started to train in what we call now mixed martial arts, which is kind of a culmination of all of these to bring out the best of the fighter. The only training I had was basically an aerobics kickboxing class that I took at an all-women's gym. Luckily, that teacher had a little bit of boxing skills, so I got a lot of that, but it wasn't really actual training. Besides that, I really had no training before going into it. I started researching. I had some friends' kids who were taking Kung Fu, so I checked that out, and I was really impressed with the artistry of it, but it was primarily kids, and I didn't feel that it was very high impact. It's definitely very technical based, but it was a lot slower paced than I wanted. I went into a karate school, and I kind of had the same feeling. I really liked the karate school, and I felt that the technique was going to be great. Their class schedule was very limiting, and I didn't feel that it was very high impact. The day that I walked into Tiger Schulman School, I was basically blown away, kind of thrown in. They had classes every day of the week, and it was like once I walked in, I never walked out.